It is 7:37 a.m. on Wednesday, April 10th, 2019. Once again, coming to you live from South Korea. I'm Christiana Ellis, and I've been up for a little while. I got my contacts in, showered, and everything already because I had an early morning meeting today with, for work stuff, but, work colleagues who are back in the States and therefore in the evening, and therefore I had to get up early. I have to be careful with my computer here because the way I've got it propped up right now is if I'm not holding it, it'll do that. So I hope you guys aren't motion sick. Anyway, one of the things that I was thinking about today is the concept of just filling time. I remember when I was a kid, my dad once telling me that as you get older, boredom is a luxury. And what he meant by that was the idea that if you are ever at a point where you have enough free time where you don't have anything else that you have to do to be bored, that's suggesting that you have free time. And I think it was an interesting thought at the time, but I don't know if it's just the changing world or if it's maybe just the difference between, individual personalities. But I have found, I just feel like there is so much out there in an entertainment sense that I can't imagine, the last time I can remember being bored was only in the specific circumstance where I was in the middle of something I had to do that was taking a long time, but I couldn't leave. And it was not ever a circumstance of I have the capability to do whatever I want, and I can't think of anything to do that sounds good. I really don't think I've been in that particular scenario for a long time. And to some extent, I know that makes me lucky because especially, things like clinical depression, can put you in, sort of a chemical mindset where you are not receiving those pleasure chemicals from any activity, and therefore nothing sounds like fun. And so I'm not I'm not belittling any of that, but it's more a matter of, for me, I have more than enough stuff that would keep me entertained all day, every day. But the problem is that a lot of that stuff tends to be, interesting and stimulating perhaps, but passive consumption, right? And it's easier to do those things than, say, to, work on my writing or do some other sort of a more active creative project. And that's where you can run into trouble, because things like watching TV or streams or movies or playing video games, those are examples of activities that will expand to fill any amount of time that you give them, right? And that's kind of what I mean by filling time in this context, is not that I'm looking that like, oh, I have 4 hours of free time, what am I going to do with them? Well, if, for example, what I did with them is I said, I'm going to write for an hour and then watch TV. And I would have no problem whatsoever watching 3 hours of TV. But the flip is not true. Meaning, if I decide I'm going to watch TV and then write, like if I watch TV, 3 hours is not going to feel like enough. I'm not going to watch 3 hours and say, well, that was satisfying. Now on to something else. No, that's not how it works. TV, video games, these things will expand, and any amount of time that you allow them to have, they will take up. And so it's just a reminder to myself in thinking about it that if I ever want to do other things, I have to prioritize them over the things that fill time. Now, I'm not even trying to indicate that like watching TV or movies or playing video games is like bad. I definitely don't think that they are bad. I think that, you know, consuming these stories or challenging yourselves, or, you know, as long as it's not something that you're watching like where you don't even like it and you're just literally watching it because you don't know what else to do with yourself, like that's more concerning. But if you're talking about a show that you're actively engaged with and you're enjoying, like that's not a bad thing to watch. But it's just a question of, if you're watching so much TV that you're not doing other things that you do generally feel like you should be doing, you have to focus on the other things first that are more defined, because otherwise the amorphous, you know, it's like goldfish will grow to bigger depending on what size of tank or pond you put them in. That's what video games and TV and movies and stuff will do. Anyway, that's just what I'm thinking about today. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it there, and I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.